This is Jackie with the Human Resource Department, and today we're going to talk about the Affirmative Action Charge and Ethics Training. Search committees are an important part of the hiring process at Eastern Oregon University. It is vital that all members of the hiring process understand the importance of each step so that all applicants receive fair and unbiased treatment. The general rule is that all questions asked must be related to the performance of the specific job duties. The following chart provides general guidelines both for applicants and employers as to what can or cannot be asked during a job interview in regards to anti-discrimination laws pertaining to race, religion, color, national origin, sex, age, disability, or marital status. This applies to recruitment, hiring, transfers, promotions, and other applicable conditions of employment. Acceptable, race or color, none. Unacceptable, any inquiry regarding race, complexion, color, or ethnic affiliation. Acceptable, birthplace, none. Birthplace of applicant, birthplace of applicant's parents, spouse, or other close relatives. Acceptable, religion, willingness to work, required work schedule. Unacceptable, inquiry into applicant's religious denomination, affiliation, church, parish, pastor, or religious holidays observed. Acceptable, national origin, none. Unacceptable, inquiry into applicant's lineage, ancestry, national origin, descent, parentage, or nationality. Nationality of applicant's parents or spouse. Acceptable, citizenship. Can applicant legally work in the U.S.? If hired, can applicant show proof of authorization to work in the United States? Unacceptable, if applicant or applicant's parents or native born or naturalized require proof of citizenship. Acceptable, organizations. Inquiry into organizational membership and offices held. Exclude organizations which indicate race, creed, color, or national origin of its members. Unacceptable, listing all clubs, societies, and lodges to which applicant belongs. Acceptable, military experience. Inquiry into the service in the U.S. Armed Forces, including branch and rank or any job-related experience. Unacceptable, general military experience such as inquiry into military service records or type of discharge. Acceptable, sex, gender, none. Unacceptable, a pre-employment inquiry as to sex on applications forms is unlawful. Acceptable, marital status, none. Unacceptable, are you married? Where does your spouse work? What are the ages of your children, if any, and what are your plans for child care? Acceptable, age, are you at least 18 years of age? Unacceptable, how old are you? What is the date of your birth? And please avoid what is the date of your graduation. Acceptable, disability, if the applicant can perform the essential functions of the job with or without reasonable accommodations. If accommodations are requested, please forward the applicant to Human Resources. Unacceptable, do you have a disability? What diseases are you being treated for? Acceptable, name, for access purpose, whether the applicant's work records are under another name. Unacceptable, to ask if a woman is a Miss, Mrs., or Ms., or to ask for a maiden name. Acceptable, residence, applicant's length of current and previous address and phone number for contact purposes. Unacceptable, none. Acceptable, relatives, name of relatives already employed by the company. Unacceptable, information concerning applicant's children or other relatives not employed by the company. Acceptable, photograph, none. Unacceptable, Requirement that an applicant affix a photograph to employment application at any time before hiring. Acceptable. Language. Inquiry into language applicant speaks, writes, or reads fluently. Unacceptable. Inquiries into how applicant acquired ability to speak, write, or read a foreign language. Acceptable. Education. Inquiry into the academic, vocational, or professional education of an applicant and the public and private schools the applicant has attended. Unacceptable. Nationality, racial, or religious affiliation of schools attended. Acceptable. Criminal record. Currently, EOU requires this information on the application. This information is not to be used to evaluate job qualification. Unacceptable. Have you been arrested? Inquiry into arrest record. University diversity efforts include creating a diverse and inclusive environment, following federal and state non-discrimination laws. The definition of diversity is acknowledging, understanding, accepting, valuing, and celebrating differences among people with respect to age, class, ethnicity, gender, physical and mental ability, race, sexual orientation, spiritual practice, and public assistance status. Affirmative action definition. No quotas, set-asides, or reverse discrimination. The university should mirror the multiracial, multi-ethnic, pluralistic world of our students. Aggressively advertise and network for diversity candidates, including solicitation letters. Increase the representation of diversity in the EOU workforce. Charge to the search committee. Hire the best applicant for the job. That's the essence of equal opportunity. Affirmative action does not mean preferential treatment and selection of unqualified candidates over qualified candidates. Provide equal employment opportunity access for all applicants. Everything you do must be directly job related. Screening criteria, ranking method, interview questions, reference questions, etc. Screening criteria must be objective and measurable. Treat all applicants the same. Move quickly, systematically, and stick to a timeline that reflects urgency and rigor. For the university, your teammates, and the applicants, each of you must do the work on time. Know the PD and criteria, come to the meetings prepared, and be ready to defend your assessments. Confidentiality. Absolute confidentiality must prevail about search process and candidates. This is critical. Do not discuss outside the committee. Do not confirm speculation. Zero tolerance for disclosure of any candidate information outside the committee for all time, but qualifications and experience divulged by candidates may be publicly shared at the time of a campus visitation with the candidate's permission. This is critical with regard to internal candidates. Committees provide hiring managers with strengths and weaknesses of finalists. Hiring managers must justify hire as the most qualified. Roles of search chairman and search coordinator. With every search committee, an instruction sheet is sent out for these two roles at the time of posting. Interviews, phone and campus. Pre-plan questions and secure HR approval in advance. Legal questions only based on experience and qualifications. Comfortable, non-judgmental conversational flow versus inquisition. The best is open-ended, behavior-based experience, hypothetical scenarios. The past predicts the future. Feel free to pursue follow-up questions, clarification, and greater depth. All candidates should receive the same selected questions. All candidates should have similar interview experience and leave with a sense of fairness. Caution: First impression biases, especially those tied to prohibited areas like physical attributes and accents. Always ask candidates their experience working with diverse populations. Be aware of your attitudes and unconscious bias. Are your accents, communication styles, tones, volumes of speech, eye contact, degree of formality, handshake, dress, individual versus group achievements, etc. When applicants are presenting to a university group, a member of the search committee is required to be present and monitor the questions being asked. Internet searches. Do not conduct any search by candidate name on the internet. There is no way to know for certain if you have information on the correct person. The information is not vetted, so there is no way of knowing if it is fact or an opinion. It is possible that photographs may populate. This is also something you want to stay away from because it could be deemed prejudice. Any of the information mentioned in this paragraph could cause issues of a biased and unfair search. References. Crucial and best done by the committee between the phone interview and the campus interview steps. Get references from multiple work-related sources, former bosses, subordinates, and peers. Pre-plan behavior-based questions tied to selection criteria. Verification of what applicant has said in interviews. Probe potential performance red flags, areas of committee concern. Be assertive in pursuing follow-up questions, clarifications, and greater depth. Always ask candidates permissions to talk to secondary references. Always ask if they would rehire, and if not, an explanation. Always ask what should have been asked but wasn't, other performance areas. Always ask other knowledgeable individuals with whom the committee could talk. Written and/or unsolicited references have dubious value. Due diligence is required when contacting references. If the committee repeatedly calls a candidate's reference and there is no response, the time and date of each attempt should be noted on the reference sheet. DualCareer Policy. The university may devote resources to support the recruitment of dual-career academic couples. Eastern Oregon University cannot provide job placement or guarantee employment to spouses or partners of candidates. The initiation of discussion regarding dual career appointment should be left up to the candidate employee in order to avoid intrusive and potentially illegal inquiries about a candidate's family situation, and to acknowledge that the appropriate time to communicate the need for spouse-partner accommodations will vary across the different search contexts. If Human Resources is notified by the candidate of a dual career situation, the chair of the search will be notified of the candidate. The candidate has to qualify for the position on their own merit. For any questions in regard to ethics or affirmative action, please feel free to call Human Resources at 541-962-3548.